Audio Jungle. Welcome to Spinge News. I am Selena Hung. Today is November 9th, 1989. Before we get into our news for the day, let us take a look at today's weather.
Welcome to the weather segment of Spinge News. This is your weather girl, Jolene. It is currently 86 degrees Fahrenheit, slightly humid, and cloudy with a chance of Soviet communism. Remember, viewers, you can always seek out the nearest shelter in case of an air raid, though the chances of surviving are lower than 10% today. To those who managed to survive, good luck dealing with the radiation burns.
Moving on to today's entertainment segment, pop culture of the 70s and 80s.
Welcome to the 70s and 80s pop culture section of Spinge News. Some notable 70s favorites were Barbies, which came out in 1959, Toy Trains, and the Atari 2600 gaming system, which first released in 1977. It popularized the microprocessor-based hardware and games contained on ROM cartridges, which allowed people to switch to whatever game they may wish to play. Colorful accessories, such as these platform shoes, were also really popular in the 70s. We interviewed several people about what they think of the 80s as a decade. Some of their answers might surprise you.
But I think the 80s have been a really treacherous time for America.
I call the 80s the what me worry generation.
It's the bottom line era. It's time to get hip.
I don't have a name for it. Just lucky I got through it.
It's all kinds of things that I never expected it to be.
Best of times, worst of times.
A decade very much dominated by illusion and manipulation.
Stallone, Madonna years.
Problem with decades is they take 10 years to go by.
You might call it the awareness generation.
New music genres such as punk, new wave, rock, country, hip-hop, and rap are gaining more and more popularity in the 80s, a time for music styles that were previously considered too outlandish to be mainstream. This year's hottest singers include Michael Jackson with his top hit Thriller, and Elvis Presley slowly gaining more and more popularity. The early 80s clothing style mostly revolves around neutral-colored clothing. From the mid-80s to late 80s, brighter-colored and flashier clothing began to appear. Inspired by celebrities such as Cyndi Lauper or television shows such as Saved by the Bell. Clothes that were previously regarded as inappropriate, such as miniskirts, are especially popular among the younger crowd. Materials such as velour, velvet, and high-waisted anything are in. Even though the movie industry struggled during the 80s, Jack Nicholson gained lots of popularity from the movie The Shining and Batman. Overall, the most profiting movie is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. So far, the most popular TV shows is The Cosby Show, an American sitcom featuring Bill Cosby, which aired for so far 7 seasons. The series is about an African-American family, and it is known for their universal relatability.
Next, we'll be looking at the latest updates concerning the Berlin Wall, which have separated Germany into two, as it is now finally torn down.
Yes, we have finally witnessed this emotional and crucial turning point that affects the lives of many people in the German territory. Years ago, when the wall was constructed, friends and families were involuntarily separated before many of them were finally reunited after many decades of living apart. This event will remain symbolic as it marks the fall of the Iron Curtain and the dissolving of the Soviet territory. There is no longer a line prohibited to cross when people once intended to build this wall in order to prevent fascists from entering East Berlin. The country is now united and celebrations continue on.
Now, the fall of the Berlin Wall can be said to be the hard work paid off for President Ronald Reagan and a victory for all capitalist nations. For years, our president has taken measures to improve Cold War tensions, taking steps towards international peace. President Reagan visited West Berlin 2 years ago, and with the Berlin Wall as a backdrop, made his famous "Tear Down This Wall" speech at Brandenburg Gate. The event today has proven efforts such as these to be effective and successful. Not only that, our president has also worked towards reducing arms in all nations. After many negotiations, our President Reagan had finally met up with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev and signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces INF Treaty, which eliminated an entire class of nuclear missiles from Europe. As proven in his foreign policies, Reagan understood and took actions to make real changes. Now, welcome to Speech New Economics, where we'll be looking at the effects of Reaganomics on the welfare of the American people. Yesterday, our fellow cameraman Nina Lowe went on the streets and asked Americans, what do you think of the implementation of Reaganomics? And this is what we learned.
What do you think of Reaganomics?
Reaganomics? Reagan? I love him. With the generous tax cuts, my income went from this to this. I can swim in my money and sing and dance in the bills every single day.
What do you think of Reaganomics? Who do you think this is?
It's the bastard that stole my job. I hate him. I had a job and I lost it because of him.
So do you know anything about Reaganomics?
Well, duh, I do. Who does he think he could save the economy? Many presidents tried.
What exactly do you think he did?
He gave my money to the rich. That's what he did. He gave my friends money to the rich, he gave my parents money to the rich, and he gave my dogs food to the rich. He gave everyone's money to the rich. That's what he did.
All right, thank you, Nina. So is Reagan really helping our economy? Decide for yourself. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Speech News.